running around. I thought Nick looks really good, and he looks, like a guy that's had a couple days off. His legs are really fresh. Mike Taylor's looked very well returning back from a couple days off. So with that, open it up.
What about the O-linemen, Zeitler and Rob Havenstein?
Both of those guys went through halfway through practice. They were right there. We thought practice them today, but we didn't want to push them through because they got all of tomorrow off. We don't have anything except for Family Fun Day, so we'll give them another day to recover. So both of those guys are about right on task. We see Robbie walk. I mean, he's right there. So those guys will be full go Monday. Robbie and Zeitler.
The O-line continuity, it had been only one guy out of the starting lineup, Zeitler, but was Boston starting a little bit concerned about getting some bodies to be able to develop?
Well, the problem that happened is we had both Josh and Robbie out for double days, so that Casey Dean has kind of been the utility guy. He's a guy that's played at guard both sides and popping all around. So I'm really excited because Casey might be that Billy Nagy, kind of that utility guy moving around.
How has Josh been able to grind through things? I know that was a concern early on in camp.
In my opinion, he's playing as good a football as he's played since he's been here. He's really playing with a little bit of an edge to him. We've been pretty good with his workload. He's only worked on the 1 days, and he's handled it very well. So now we're in the home stretch. All of our double days are done from this point forward, and I hope it continues for him.
Can you talk about the improvement you've seen out of Jordan Fredrick, a local guy?
Yeah, Jordan, had kind of a rough go of it. He was really good the first 3-4 days, and he got basically an illness that really affected his breathing and his ability to just have all of his energy. So we sat him out a couple days. First day he was back, got banged in the head, got a concussion. But he's been back out. He actually had a really big scrimmage yesterday, did some really nice things, did some things again tonight, but he's still a freshman. He has those moments where you kind of wonder where he is and if he's actually in Camp Randall with us here today. But he's really, I can't say enough positive things about him, just been beyond what we thought.
We're getting close to that 10-day mark where you like to have the starters established. Have the injuries helped or hurt that process?
No, I think it's given us depth, especially at the offensive line. I think at linebacker we've gotten a lot of guys with reps that we've kind of been surprised with what they've been able to do. And then really at wide receiver because Nick was out and with the injuries to Chase Hammond and Manessa Gardner, those other guys have really had to step forward, and they have.
How has Nick been since he's...
I said at the beginning, Tom, I thought it really shows that he had some time off. He's got fresh legs. He really has made some nice catches. I think him and Russ have had a lot of nice. You can see there's a chemistry there, and hopefully it's going to continue to build.
You've talked, or mentioned a couple of times, that the depth of the D-line is as good as it's been since you've been here. But how did you get to that point? Because in 2008, when Charlie first came in, he had to play his starters a lot.
Yeah.
What was that process like?
I think after that 2008 year, we really looked at, hey, we have to develop depth because this isn't going to. We had some good players. We thought. Who was that? That was 91, and especially a D tackle. It was Newkirk and Chappie, and we were relying on him in the third, fourth quarter. We just began to wear down. We kind of made a decision at that point. A, we have to get better recruiting and get that depth in here, and then B, we have to develop a 4-man, 5-man rotation. So it's really been, I think, a huge emphasis by Charlie in the weight room and just doing a better job.
Is one of the things trying to identify D-line prospects? Because look at Lewis's former running back.
Yeah.
J.J. Kidd is a tight end. I mean, it's not always D-line.
I think D-in particular, but the D tackle is a little bit of a different animal. I mean, to me, we haven't been able to sign the guys like Bo Allen, and Hemer's grown into a 300-pound guy, which is a nice benefit for us, kind of a bonus for us in that regards. But I think Bo, Jordan Cahoot, is a 260-pound kid that now weighs, that 290, 300. Butchern was a 225-pound tight end, linebacker, fullback, and grew into what he is. So, it is, I think, some projection, but also a really good job by us targeting certain guys.
Has Phil Blood's kicked fully since he's been back?
Yeah, he came back and kicked. He kicked at the end of last week. I don't know if this week, Thursday, Friday, I can't remember which day. We held him out of kickoffs. Alec Lerner had a great kickoff. He actually got practice called off early yesterday because he nailed a little challenge that I had for him, and I think a real positive sign for his confidence.
What was the challenge?
Well, I planned to cut out practice early. I'd kind of planned this, but I set up a stage at the end where the whole team stood behind our kickoff coverage team, and I'm not saying we should mic any of our guys, but there was a lot of creative taunting and yelling and screaming, and his first one got about a yard deep in the end zone, and then he had 3 more kicks, and every one of them was at least 5 yards deep, and one of them actually went at the back of the end zone. And I just wanted to put pressure on him because he hasn't been able to be in that environment yet. So we had the whole team behind him yelling and screaming, and I put the last kick out there. I said, if this one's in the end zone, we're through with practice, which it already was. They didn't know it. And he hit it up back, so it was a good sign.
Cadigan was out for a couple of days.
Concussion,
It
back
was a
Monday.
concussion.
Yep. Him, Cody Byers, and I think one of the guys' concussions coming down.
So one thing might get overlooked with Russell is his ball fake. How good do you think is he in ball handling and ball fake?
He's an extremist. He takes a lot of pride in it. I've never really heard a quarterback critique running backs on carrying out ball fakes better. And classic today, we're doing 2 minute, and I've run 2 minute, the same way I've always gone along. And I basically put a ball in. The ball was first down, so the ball's going to start. When I said clock stop, clock's going to start. And he goes, "You're going to give me a whistle?" I'm like, "Yes, Russell, I'm going to give you a whistle." I mean, he thinks ahead of the game so much.
What's the key to play action with the defense, faking the defense?
Basically pad level. As a linebacker, at least when I coached him, and I know my guys say the same thing, you can hear run play action. Runs, you've got pads downhill, you can hear the click, clack of people coming off the ball. With play action, it may be kind of the same type of look, but there's no sound because everybody's putting their pads back. So everything has to be kind of going forward. And Russell, with his height, he can kind of really get down behind our big guys.
Are you ready to call him the starter yet, or is there still?
Well, I know everybody wants that, but the thing that's really happened because of John's situation is, he's taken over all those 1 reps since John's been gone. And the great thing is, Joel and Joey Brennan have really benefited from just a bunch of reps that they weren't going to necessarily get if it was Russell and Johnny. So, Russ, we'll put out our starting lineup on Monday, but he's been running with the ones all the way through.
Are you still optimistic that Garner will be back for
Game 2, yeah, he actually was running routes today and stuff too, so he's coming along nicely.
How much UNLV stuff have you done?
All the way to back last spring, a lot of the spread stuff that they've changed, not changed, but they've definitely broadened their packages as they went through their season last year. Coach Houck, who I have a lot of respect for, I know, is going to come in here, and so we'll actually start. We'll have basically almost 14 days of preparation for UNLV.
Every practice that goes by, that Brendan Kelly stays healthy. How much peace of mind does that give you that he might be fully back?
Well, he's Brendan Kelly's a very good football player, and we haven't had him for 2 years, so it's refreshing to see him have success because he's a well-liked kid, and you just want to see him out here. And I think it's just refreshing for him to play the game and be able to start making plays.
Charlie Parker said during his injury, he said he was making scouting reports for.
Oh yeah, he's up watching film. He's probably a little bit borderline obsessive compulsive disorder. He's got all kinds of notes out. He's always carrying around food. He's just always trying to get better.
Where's the movie again? Last night? Movie?
I know too. Had to be something that made everybody happy.